To work on a lot of people's behalfs, including Congressman Himes, state legislators, of course our mayor, Reverend Jackson, and lots of community leaders as well. We are pleased that we're able to announce that Head Start will be opening Thursday for sure. Absolutely for sure, opening on Thursday. We're hopeful that Head Start will open tomorrow, but we'll have that information later today, and we'll get that information out to the media. But we wanted to, let parents know, kids know that Head Start in Norwalk will be reopening again on Thursday for sure. And again, we're hopeful for Wednesday. This is going to be, I think, a relief to many people in the community. Because of the fact that it has been closed for a long time. We know that Neon has been in turmoil for many weeks, and that through the work, again, of many people in the community, including Reverend Jackson, who's our interim CEO, Mayor Rilling, Congressman Himes, our two federal U.S. senators, state legislators, and community leaders, we're able to work last week to ensure that Head Start would be open this week. And that to us is very good news. We're already seeing parents coming in, and I've gotten a few messages myself of employees who are excited to come back to work. I'm sure the kids are excited to come back. A little bit more normalcy as we head into the holidays. So I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Jackson if he'd like to say anything, and then we can let Mayor Rilling say a few words, and then the rest of the folks here. We also have a statement from Congressman Himes.
Well, first, to express gratitude and thanks to all of the elected officials in the Norwalk community, starting with our state representatives, our newly elected mayor, who jumped right in on day one on November 20th after being sworn in on November 19th to make sure that the Head Start program started up again, to Congressman Himes' office, who has worked assiduously and tirelessly with those of us at Neon and the community leaders, including Mr. Burgess and others and other clergy persons, to ensure that this program came back soon, more sooner than later. One of the problems that was associated with it was not related to anyone in the state of Connecticut at all. It was related to CDI and HHS, who noted that they were waiting for one another to get together to do things, and we were able to open up 2 weeks ago the Child School Readiness Program that's operated through the city of Norwalk and the school system there, and we hope that we continue to operate those programs, and we're just happy to be able to provide the families needed services in this community, and that the children can get the benefit of appropriate education at this time in their lives. And so to all of you, thank you, and especially thank you to our elected officials, our community leaders, and other clergy persons for doing the same.
Thank you. And Reverend Jackson certainly worked very diligently and very hard to make sure that we're trying to get these other services up and running as well. And this shows what happens, or what can happen, when people join together for a common cause. Now, this was not something that happened overnight. This took many, many conference calls, many discussions, many ideas tossed back and forth, and finally they sat up and they listened to government officials saying, you need to get this moving. And it shows what can happen when people band together for a common cause. And we have to thank Reverend Jackson. We have to thank Congressman Himes, who was very, very involved in the process. The state delegate from Norwalk, the state delegation, my office. We were all working very diligently in long hours trying to make sure. We're conference calls at 9:30 at night that lasted until 11 o'clock at night. So we don't want people. The conference call that's supposed to be 15 minutes long turned out to be an hour and a half. But that was well worth it. And this is what I would say is our efforts are our gift to the people who were affected by this. This was back in October that these young kids had no place to go. The parents had no place to send them. The parents were in danger of losing their jobs. The staff for Head Start were laid off. So now this is a holiday gift, if you will, that we were able to fight so hard for people, and it shows that we fight for all people, not just some. We're not a delegation that just fights for some people. We fight for all the people, and that was our promise during my campaign. That was a promise during the campaign of the state delegation. That was a promise from Congressman Himes. And it shows that we are delivering on this promise. We are fighting for all the people, and so that they can get the services to which they're entitled. And I can't be any happier, because this is something that has been, as Reverend Jackson said, from the moment I got into office, we've been working diligently since in trying to get this done. But I just thank you all for all your hard work.
Okay, good. Again, thank you to everyone who's here. In addition to the state delegates and federal delegates who are involved, needed to note also that we had representatives from Norwalk NAACP from their leadership, Reverend Lindsay Curtis. Just want everybody to know that there's been Brenda Penn Williams. There have been a lot of people for an awful lot of months now who've been working behind the scenes, not looking for headlines or anything else, to help resolve the issues that are around NEON. Certainly, we can never underestimate the impact of having Congressman Himes coordinate the conference call that he did with most of the major players within HHS, all the federal delegation that's most important to this area, state, and we also need to include the governor's office. So almost and the mayor. So almost at every level of government was involved in this coordinated call, and gave a very clear message that it would be unacceptable. It would be unacceptable to wait until January to have this program up and going. That type of participation, that type of movement, we're appreciative to HHS for being responsive to that and making that happen. We cannot say enough about the fact, I mean, Mayor Rilling has said it, about the numbers of calls that are happening on a weekly basis between elected officials, community people, and Reverend Tommie Jackson. He's a godsend to this community. For someone to jump into a bath that was full of fire the way it was, I mean, he had an idea. We were having conversations with him in advance, but to have to really deal with the issues that he has. He's a pastor of a church. He has other responsibilities, but he has come in and helped to really right the ship, and we can't thank you enough for what you're doing. With that being said, I'm sure I can speak for all of us that it is our intention. It is our intention to continue to keep our hand to the plow with Reverend Jackson, to see to it that a number of other services and things that somehow that we are making certain that the city of Norwalk, that this area is stabilized. In addition to Head Start, we have the children that were impacted. We have a number of employees that are within the city who've been impacted. So certainly, as we've come together as elected individuals, as community members, I'm sure that we'd all ask all of our citizens within the city to recognize, yeah, there's some black eyes, there's some things happening, there's a lot of fingers you can point, but that's not where we need to be. We're in a holiday season. We're a sharing and giving community. Someone told me today this is Giving Tuesday. All right? If we can be more about that mindset of giving and giving of ourselves, we will do well, because this is a great city, and the services that NEON has provided for so long are critical to all the residents of this city, regardless of whatever our socioeconomic status is. So again, thank you to everyone who's been involved, and I'm glad to be a part of this team that's trying to get our city together. And thank you again.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to echo some of what Representative Morris had to say. Frankly, it's not only the season of giving, but really this is, in a way, kind of the end of the beginning. You know, we understand what it takes to come together as a community, how important it is to pull together. Communication is critical, you know, whether it's every day on conference calls or emails or what have you. The fact of the matter is, you know, if one piece of communication falls by the wayside, then, you know, the services that people rely on for critical services, those fall by the wayside. So by just staying unified as a community and working together going forward, that is how we're going to be able to, you know, deliver the services that we need to the people who need them the most. Thank you very much.
Hi, Congressman Himes couldn't be here, but he asked me to read a brief statement. I am pleased that the Administration of Children and Families have announced that Head Start services in Norwalk will resume shortly, providing much-needed relief to hundreds of Norwalk families that rely on this program. I join local leaders in urging the federal government to do everything possible to end weeks-long delay in services that has withheld vital early education to at-risk children and disrupted the lives of working families. And I commend the actions taken since to restore crucial Head Start programs in Norwalk. I urge the administration of children and families to do everything practical to return children to classrooms as quickly as possible, and my office stands at ready to assist in any way it can. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyrone. So thanks everybody again for coming today. Again, I think for all of us, I can say this, that we all feel extremely hopeful that we're going to open tomorrow. We know for sure we're going to open on Thursday, which is great news. I think the best thing that we'll see is when we see kids coming in happy, back to be ready to come back here and back to their routine, giving parents the opportunity to get back to their routine. I can't imagine the unbelievable stress it must be for parents who have had to juggle daycare amongst all the other things that they do to us. I've had two small boys who haven't been too far from daycare, and when their daycare may be closed, or I can't imagine the unbelievable amount of stress that must cause to parents. So I'm just excited. I know everybody else is too about having this open tomorrow.
Just one other thing. I mean, we still have a long way to go. Head Start is one part, the school readiness program is another part, but there are so many services that have to be replaced, and we have to find the proper way of doing that, because there's still a lot of people out there that are affected by this whole problem. So we can't stop until we make sure that we get all those services back up and running, and believe me, we will not stop. Two members of the Common Council just walked in. I'd like to thank them for being here, because we need their support as well. It's a whole group of people fighting together to make sure that we get this. We got part of it back, we got the school readiness program back, now there's other services that we have to continue to fight for.
Yeah, and we are, and let me just echo what the mayor said, because we are, with Reverend Jackson, our work continues. As I said earlier, Neon was in shambles not too long ago. There's still lots of work to be done. We're going to continue to pick up piece by piece to ensure that employees have a place to go to work, people have the services that they need, and kids have a place to come that is safe, and they can receive the early childhood care as well. We also have members of our early childhood from City Hall. We'd like to thank them for all their work that they've done over the last few months, because there are lots of different funding sources, whether it's state funding for the school readiness piece, whether it's federal piece as well. Lots of moving pieces in this whole puzzle here. And again, through everybody working together, I think this is how we've at least arrived at this day, though we know, as the mayor said, we need to continue to work forward to pick up all the pieces for all the programs that we have.
Put the whole puzzle back together.
Anything else?